an 84-year-old woman, was taken from her home in Arizona. The suspect had been there before. He knew which camera to cover. He covered it with a plant. The FBI recovered the footage anyway. They can see his mask, his gun, his backpack, the exact moment he reached toward the lens. That was 75 days ago. They still don't know who he is. 41 minutes. From the moment he disconnected her camera to the moment her pacemaker stopped connecting to her phone. Less than an hour. And she was gone. There's something else in this case. The lead detective assigned to find her had never worked a homicide before. Neither had his supervisor. This is not the story of a suspect who was too smart to be caught. This is the story of a system that wasn't ready before it ever started looking. It was a Saturday evening in January. Nancy Guthrie had dinner with her daughter. At 9:48 p.m., her son-in-law drove her home. At 9:50, her garage door closed. He drove away. That was the last confirmed moment anyone saw Nancy Guthrie. 4 hours later, someone was at her front door. He was wearing a mask and gloves. He had a backpack and a gun. He reached toward her doorbell camera, tried to knock it off. When he couldn't, he covered the lens with leaves from a potted plant. That was 1:47 in the morning. At 2:28 a.m., Nancy's pacemaker app disconnected from her phone. Her phone was still inside the house. Her medication, her wallet, her car, everything she needed to live. Still inside. Nancy Guthrie was not. Nancy Guthrie was 84 years old. She had lived in Tucson for more than 50 years. She went to church every week. Her husband, Charles, died in 1988. He was 49 on a mining trip in Mexico. Nancy raised their 3 children alone after that. One of them is Savannah Guthrie, the co-host of NBC's Today Show. At 84, Nancy had limited mobility. She relied on daily medication. She had a pacemaker. The sheriff said it plainly. She couldn't walk 50 yards by herself. She did not leave that house. When the FBI released the doorbell footage, most people focused on February 1st. The masked man, the gloves, the gun, the plant covering the lens. But one of the doorbell images was not from February 1st. It was from a different day. He had been there before. The same house. Before the night he came back. This was not an opportunistic crime. Someone chose Nancy Guthrie specifically. He knew the 41-minute window. He used every second of it. Her pacemaker was still running. Pacemakers emit a low-level signal, detectable if you know what you're looking for. Law enforcement mounted a signal detection device onto a helicopter. They flew it slow, low over the desert around Tucson, looking for Nancy Guthrie's heartbeat. And still, 75 days later, no name. 5 labs across the country are analyzing DNA from the scene, including what investigators believe may be the suspect's saliva. 24 detectives, federal resources, new technology, and no arrest. 2 days after Nancy disappeared, a television station in Tucson received a letter. It contained specific details about her home, what she was wearing the night she vanished, information only someone involved would know. The following day, TMZ received a note demanding millions in Bitcoin with a deadline. Then a second message came. The note said Nancy was alive, that she was scared. The deadline passed. February 9th. No payment confirmed. No proof of life received. The family offered $1 million. The FBI had offered $100,000, $1.2 million, available to anyone with information. Nobody has come forward. Either nobody knows, or someone is more afraid than the money. While the suspect was covering his tracks, the investigation was already failing. Sources confirmed this to Fox News, Digital, and News Nation. The lead detective assigned to find Nancy Guthrie had never worked a homicide investigation before. His supervisor, the sergeant running the homicide unit, had also never personally worked a homicide case before being appointed to run it. He had been a sergeant for 6 months. Of the 6 detectives on the team, only one had more than 3 years of homicide squad experience. There were experienced detectives available. They had been sidelined, not because of their work, because they were not favored by the sheriff's leadership team. One was eventually brought back in late February, nearly 4 weeks after Nancy had already been taken. The former Pima County Sheriff, Richard Carmona, confirmed that Nanos personally reopened the crime scene too soon. Among the people who walked through it, a Domino's driver, an active crime scene for the abduction of an 84-year-old woman, walked through by a pizza delivery driver. The Pima County Deputies Union called a unanimous no-confidence vote against Sheriff Chris Nanos. The Board of Supervisors voted to formally question him. He is also under a separate harassment investigation. "You cannot attack my department," he said. The investigation is in its 75th day. No suspect has been named. The FBI has helicopters, DNA labs, signal detection technology, 24 detectives, $1.2 million on the table. And still, no name. There is a reason for that, and it starts before the investigation began. The FBI said from the beginning, this was targeted, not random. Nancy Guthrie was specifically chosen. Sheriff Nanos told reporters they believe they know the motive. He has not said what it is. Former FBI agent Jennifer Coffindaffer has been direct. Kidnapping for ransom. Nancy sadly died. The deadlines passed. No proof of life was ever provided. The family was tortured by notes. The kidnappers knew the FBI would not recommend paying without confirmation. Dr. Ann Burgess, criminal profiler whose work inspired the Netflix series Mindhunter, believes the blood trail matters. Why does the blood trail stop? Where does it go? She thinks the initial plan may have gone wrong inside the house. A third theory, revenge. Is there retaliation? Is there revenge? A former cop believes Nancy may have been taken to Mexico and may not have survived the trip. Savannah Guthrie addressed her mother's abductor directly. You're not lost or alone, and it is never too late to do the right thing. Investigators found a black glove near Nancy Guthrie's home. The FBI said it appears to match the gloves worn by the suspect in the footage. The glove was DNA tested. The results entered into the FBI's national database. No match. Either the suspect has no criminal record, or the DNA could not be isolated. The glove is still out there. The name it points to is still unknown. 79 days. The FBI is working it. 24 detectives, 5 labs, a helicopter that flew over the desert, listening for a heartbeat. $1 million reward that nobody has claimed. A glove with DNA that matches nothing in the database. A doorbell camera that was covered with a plant and still gave up its footage. And a lead detective who had never worked a homicide the day he was assigned to this one. The suspect planned for 41 minutes. The investigation is now in its 79th day. One of those two parties was more prepared than the other. Nancy Guthrie's family is still waiting for an answer. So is everyone else. Someone knew enough to plan this. Someone knew her schedule, her camera, her window. Someone has known for 75 days and has said nothing, not even for $1.2 million. The question everyone is asking is what happened to Nancy Guthrie. But there is another question that nobody is asking. Or was the failure already there, before the search even began? If you have information about the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit a tip at tips.fbi.gov. Dark Matter Stories, new episodes every week, where reality gets darker.